First of all, thank God for the life of the victims, so you see the few release. But on the second thoughts, you say you are working very hard. Of course, it takes a lot of hard working to release somebody that has been held, But most of una know say, wait, how una take reach there now force una self put anyway. Thirdly, not only Nigeria, not there for the rescue people, where the people will carry them, they don't know their whereabouts. So when the people go just see una, so now they come, the people just start to they run and you pack the people. Nobody is responsible for the abduction. Nobody. May God help you people. May God help, because the thing that is Tamara, before I will take talk. Mona see the video anyway, because it's kind of shocking and disappointing. A country like Nigeria.
We have so far released over 1,000 of such victims without noise. Going forward, we are strengthening law enforcement and security measures to prevent these abductions and strengthen physical security across vulnerable communities. This work is done by our security forces, our soldiers, our armed forces, our police, our intelligence agencies.
All right, we must commend the security forces, Rufai, as always. But as journalists, we will always ask the questions that we need answers for. Let me take a reaction, which is one of the questions that we've been asking. This is from N8, who wrote, "Beautiful one, and it's very commendable. But all this rescue mission with no arrest of the kidnap perpetrators is not going to help in the progress of insecurity. Arrests need to be made, and culprits need to be made to face the law." Well, we've talked about this, Rufai. Remember the last time they released some students in Kaduna? You did send out that tweet. We are seeing these abductees being released. Well, kudos to the Tinubu administration as well, because we have seen it over and over again. But where are these kidnappers? Where are the terrorists? Well, here is a video of an alleged bandit kingpin who goes by the name Maijaka, filmed cracking jokes freely with a Lebanese man said to be an engineer, handling the Gusau-Sokoto road. Maijaka is reported by Zagazola Makama, has maintained his presence on TikTok freely, boasting of how he has been carrying out attacks. You see this, Rufai. This video, has been circulating, and that man is there. But we talked about this, about TikTok. The last time we discussed that bandit that was brandishing the Naira notes. And we talked about the fact that these bandits, or whoever they are alleged to be, are out there. And our security forces need to display these people out so we can know where they are, or what has been going on so far.
Oji, we live in a society where people want to be praised.
Yeah.
I don't do well with praises. I'm a stoic in my head. So I'm taking at sea when people are saying it's commendable that they release them. Okay, in the spirit of praises, we praise them, it's commendable that they rescued them, isn't it? But that's gallow humor. Should we even have a country where people are being kidnapped and they are paraded in the first place? So that's the question. So if they want to, we praise you for rescuing them. But a country that is supposed to protect you, we now have that country where people are being kidnapped and we are parading kidnapped victims. It's an achievement by the National Security Advisor, where his role is supposed to have intelligence to stop the kidnapping in the first place. And when they say ransoms are not being paid, we all know the shenanigan that goes on. We've built a banditry ecosystem where these people pick up people and they are seen at the back. And negotiations go on. We can go from Kankara boys to God knows what. So why can't we stop that market? That's why you are seeing this video on TikTok, to show that these people have had so much ecosystem. I'm sure in their communities they will praise them, and they are carrying. These are non-state actors carrying guns, but intelligence officials have been able to pick up those people.
Yeah, that's the question.
And you want us to praise them when they now parade the people that have been returned after this conversation that goes on, and say we should praise them.
Right.
So let me tell you something, Oji. We've built a state where non-state actors are dominating. And the state is supposed to have the legitimacy and monopoly of violence. And if the state is losing that, then you have chaos brewing.
Yeah.
we are losing parts of this country increasingly.
Well, thank God those abductees have been released. They spent 207 days in captivity. But you know, we just marked the 10th anniversary of Chibok, and so we still have about 89 of our girls out there in captivity. In the meantime, as the world marked the 10th anniversary of the abduction of the Chibok girls, the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Edwin Clark, has asked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to appoint a special task force to travel to Sambisa Forest to rescue the remaining Chibok girls held in captivity.
Federal government under President Tinubu should appoint a special task force with brave soldiers, competent, transparent, not nepotic. That brave task force should be given a time limit. Their main duty is to travel at all times to Sambisa Forest and anywhere to search for these girls. When Jonathan said there were Boko Haram in his government, it's true. Even in his office, every attempt made by Jonathan to save these girls, to release rescue these girls, was thwarted by the state government of Northeast. No government has given the Chibok thing a priority.
Well, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wrote an op-ed in this week where he talked about Nigerians and the economy. They're going to be liberated. He also talked about the fact that his administration will make sure that no ransom will be paid. I mean, we will give kudos because we are seeing the release, but the question is still out there. Is it possible?
All right, so yeah, I mean, that's a big question. From the first story in terms of the release, thank God that these children are back home. We saw picture footage of them being received. But beyond that is that we keep saying that what is the deterrent for these kidnappings not occurring again? If there are no arrests, if there's no public show of punishments to deter people from doing it again, then it's almost fruitless. And then the second part of the question, which you often ask, is how were these girls released? Of course, I know they might want to keep some parts of their operations quiet because of the sensitivity of it. But I can't imagine going into a kidnapper's den, picking up children, and there's no form of combat where there's exchange or loss. Some people are being apprehended. It beggars belief. Is it that there was an arrangement where we say you meet them halfway? Was there an exchange? It doesn't make any sense. If I come into, even the Bible says if you go to a strong man's house to rescue something, you have to defeat the strong man first of all. You can't just sneak in, get the girls out, and then do nothing. If for anything, at least to pick one or two people to give you intelligence so as to arrest the situation. That's why it's very suspect. We want to believe it. We want to celebrate that they've adhered to their no ransom policy. But it's difficult. Except we are not journalists, except we're not able to ask questions, then we will take this on the surface of things. With regards to what Chief Edwin Clark said, spot on. He mentioned something, and that's what piqued my interest in that first story. Time limit. Yes. Whether we celebrate or not, these people already spent, since September 2023, over 100 days in captivity. We saw what happened with some of the rescued girls from Chibok, where some of them had already gotten pregnant, they had children of their own, and it just goes to show that the longer time they spend there, sometimes it's difficult to rehabilitate them, or they already have damaged individuals coming out. We don't want that. So yes, I praise them, but can we also look at the time limit in terms of how long these children are meant, I get to stay in captivity. Absolutely. So yes, special task force. I don't know why the Chibok girls rescue has become a Herculean or impossible task. If President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration can do that, honestly, it will be one of the chief legacies of this administration.
I like that, his chief legacy. I mean, it's a level of transparency of the government at this point. I love the fact that we are seeing these videos of these abductees being released. We also want to see videos, pictures of these terrorists, these kidnappers. Well, in the same vein, the governor of Kaduna State, or the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, has described the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, as the best governor in Nigeria at the moment, amid recent criticism over his handling of insecurity and controversy trailing the freed Chibok girls housed by the governor. El-Rufai made the comment at a workshop organized for senior government officials in Borno State on Monday. The former governor also commended Zulum's leadership style in rebuilding and restoring economic hope in the state, while describing the major problem in Nigeria as leadership deficit. Speaking with journalists after the workshop, El-Rufai said that the federal government is spending more on petrol subsidy than before, and that over 8 trillion naira may have been spent by the Tinubu administration to subsidize petrol, insisting that the price of petrol should have been higher than diesel presently sold at about 1,000 naira, if not for the subsidy.
As you announced withdrawal of fuel subsidy from 29th. Believe it or not, fuel subsidy is back. Because we're spending more on subsidy now, about 8 trillion, than before 29th. Because we realize that you cannot withdraw fuel subsidy if your exchange rate is not stable. You just have hyperinflation, so they have to reverse. So no policy has been installed. It's not putting the production. If you start implementing and there are problems, modify it, drop it, reverse it.
So we are hearing the former governor of Kaduna State speaking now. Well, also during the conference, the former governor of the state, while reacting to comments made by his successor, Governor Uba Sani, about leaving behind huge debts in the state, said that he doesn't want to interfere in what's happening in Kaduna or play a godfather role, and that he's only visited Kaduna State 5 times since he left office almost a year ago. Dr. Bati, over to you.
Okay, quite a basket full of issues.
Yes.
Let me start with Nasir El-Rufai. If he says Governor Zulum is the best thing since the invention of toothpaste, we cannot argue with him. He says he has been to Borno State, Maiduguri now and then. He says from the evidence of his eyes, he has seen that there is a lot of improvement in terms of life returning, in terms of improvements with regard to infrastructure. You cannot ask a man to disbelieve the evidence of his eyes. So I don't want to argue with him in that regard. There may well be other persons who think that Professor Zulum is one of the performing governors. There may be others who will say, what criteria are you adopting? There may be others that will say, oh, what of my own governor? Governor Alex Oti, what of my own governor, Dapo Abiodun, what of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State,
What about his
our host
successor?
governor?
You're not asking that question.
Which successor?
Uba Sani, what about his successor?
I will go to Uba
Okay, you're
Sani
going to
in a
Uba
moment.
Sani.
It's one of the stories you talked about.
Yes.
He said, well, he has not been to Kaduna frequently since he left office, that he had been there only just about 5 times. That, okay, when you help a man to get a job, it's for him to do the job. But no, it's not about not being a godfather. Nobody wants a godfather. And Nasir El-Rufai is intelligent enough to know that he cannot come and tell us